This is Ag Matters PM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network, brought to you by the Iowa Soybean Association, your daily recap of the information that affects Iowa's farmers, producers, and consumers, right here in the heart of the heartland. With reports from our award-winning broadcast team of Dustin Hoffman, Riley Smith, and Mark Magnuson. Now, from the IARN studios in Des Moines, here's Riley Smith.
Good day and welcome to Ag Matters PM on the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. I'm Riley Smith. Today is Tuesday, October 22nd of 2024, and we are so glad you can join us for today's show. In today's episode, we're zooming from some technical issues yesterday. Today we have Benson Hill talking about their new website and updates to that. I talked with Rich Labonte about that, and he said that while a website change might be a little bit of a routine fix that you might see to some companies, they are really proud of the changes they've made to streamline that process and get the necessary information out to producers. Before we jump into any of that, though, let's hear from our sponsor, the Iowa Soybean Association, and the Soy Checkoff.
Iowa Soybean Association is driven to deliver for Iowa's 40,000 soybean farmers. We're proud to provide objective agronomic research, a helping hand with soil and water stewardship, and timely industry news powered by the Soybean Checkoff. Learn more at iasoybeans.com.
Welcome back to Ag Matters PM on the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. I'm Riley Smith. Again, as I said earlier, talking with Rich Labonte of Benson Hill to get a tour of that updated website that they have. This is just a small clip of the conversation that we had. That conversation will be posted later on our YouTube channel. But for right now, here's Rich. Rich, we're on the main page right now. If you could just tell us a little bit about what we're looking at.
Well, the first thing about this website is that's a seismic shift from our previous website is this is a very, very commercial forward, right? So as you land on the page, kind of the hero image is something, we are a soy innovation company, right? We are focused on soy. Well, it's very clear here looking at this beautiful, beautiful rows of soy that this is the main business that we support. And a little bit about kind of who we are and just telling people immediately, we're a seed innovation company, right? That unlocks nature's genetic diversity. It's always been kind of a promise of ours, but it's about meeting the demand for feed, food, and fuel. These are the three end markets that we serve that our genetics, our varieties through those programs serve. And we want to be very, very clear about what it is we do. But the cool thing about this that we wanted to do from being commercial forward is making sure that our farmers had immediate action and could immediately find different parts of the site that might be applicable to them. So as you scroll kind of down here a little bit, our varieties, these are all of the varieties that we have for sale that farmers can buy direct from us. Our programs, our new business model really shifts from us contracting grain and then taking that grain through processing and selling that as ingredients. Right now, our business model is very much set in people put programs together. Farmers sign up for those programs, they buy our seed, and they deliver to those programs, right? So it's very, very central to kind of how things are done across a number of different other companies. But we wanted to make sure that farmers had access to the varieties, programs, and the third part of this is something that we believe in wholeheartedly, and we want to make sure is more visible. Is many CROs are testing our varieties, and I'll go through this page in a minute. And farmers really want to see that third-party validation of the varieties that we're selling to see how they test in their area. And these are academic organizations, et cetera, which we'll kind of show in the map here in a minute. But this homepage is really needed to be simple. Who we are, what we do, the end markets we serve, and how can you immediately find out more about purchasing products from us. So that's where that resides. On this page, though, it's important that we wanted to honor the heritage of eMERGE. We wanted to talk a little bit more about Crop OS. We wanted to dive into the Crop Accelerator. And I'd invite folks to come in here. We've got some beautiful video content, especially on Crop OS, which is our crop, we kind of call it our crop operating system, which is really the engine, if you will, for us to do all of our predictive breeding and insights, and all the work we do from genomic sequencing all the way to the field testing all comes back to Crop OS to make our predictions stronger. But we created a piece of content in here for actually an investor day in 2023 that is the best version that we've ever been able to create to tell the story of this, opaque kind of cloud-based data system and actually humanize it so people can really understand the power of artificial intelligence and machine learning when used to predict outcomes especially things around kind of innovation in food and feed and fuel. And then we also have a similar video about our Crop Accelerator, which is this incredible facility that's allowing us to get a little over 4 seasons a year, if you will, crop seasons a year out of a building right down the street from our headquarters, which is just incredible that we have the ability to rapidly prototype there. And that information is there for you as well. So let me jump into things that would be more applicable, I think, to once you start to understand the story. How do I integrate with Benson Hill? How do I purchase from Benson Hill? So let's talk about that for a minute. Are you seeing this page here, the varieties page?
Yep.
Great. Okay, perfect. So this is where we get into what we kind of talk about. These are like our product platforms, if you will. And our product platforms stem from our ultra high protein product platform, which is really the foundational platform, really what came out of the Schillinger Genetics acquisition with eMERGE, which was all around ultra high protein. And then from there, a lot of innovations that have been made to a very exciting line that we use for the feed space around ultra high protein, low oligosaccharide varieties. Then we get into specialty, what we kind of call COVAL, which is the low oligosaccharides, high oleic, low linolytic oils, and then the high oleic, low linolytic. And what we have coming up later in the decade, which is ultra high oil, which is purpose built for the biofuel space. The really interesting thing about how we wanted to lay this out and make it actionable for someone immediately is, you kind of click into some of these varieties and you're landing on what a farmer would call, or a salesperson would call, a tech sheet, which is all the technical, the different pieces that are germane to the variety. And you can quickly download those data sheets. You can have those available to you to print. If a salesperson's out on a call, they'll have those available to print as well. So we have those available for everyone. We've got 29 varieties on the site at this point right now. And we're on our way to, by next year, we'll have about 35 varieties available, commercially available, which is very exciting considering we were at about 23 last year. And, we've got so many different products coming out that meet a lot of the different market needs. And actually by next year, we'll be able to, our varieties will have application almost to about 70% of the entire soybean acres. Our varieties will work within, which is pretty incredible to have that kind of diversity.
That again was Rich Labonte of Benson Hill. Let's go ahead and take a look at the closing market prices.
It's time now for the Ag Matters PM Closing Market Summary, your source for market analysis and settlement prices from the day's trade in Chicago, courtesy of the folks at agmarket.net.
At the end of another trading day in the ag marketplace, we are here with Corey Bratland of agmarket.net. Corey, thanks so much for being on with us today. What are we seeing going on in the grains?
Hey, thanks, Riley. Glad to be here. Grain markets had another strong day here today. We had corn up 6 to 7 cents here. We run right into some resistance here. We've seen a lot of resistance in this 417, 418 area. That's the 20-day 100-day moving average kind of coming together. So we'll have a little tug of war right there. Soybeans stronger as well. That was kind of led by soybean oil. However, soybean oil was kind of getting a strong upward movement with crude oil. So they're kind of all falling with each other. So overall, what I'm seeing in the marketplace, it just seems like soybean harvest at 81% reported here last night. Some of these elevators, processors are still looking to get their hands on some bushels. Cash is getting a little tough to come by, so they are going out getting long the future, so that way they have the ownership of these beans. So on the corn side of things, we did have Mexico step in and buy another 360,000 metric ton of corn here this morning. So we continue to see very strong demand for our corn out of the U.S., especially going to Mexico, all while we haven't heard anything from China yet regarding exports. So if this demand continues, we're ahead of last year's pace, on a very good pace. We may have to see the USDA increase our annual export sales a little bit, which would reduce our carryout numbers in here.
And then, of course, we're looking at storage issues for this crop as well, with that bumper crop. Elevators as well, running out of space to keep grain piles on the ground. When we have a situation like this where storage is running a little tighter, how does that impact the marketplace? Do we see a little more maybe selling pressure just to get that grain out and shipped, or what exactly is that trade relationship like?
Yeah, typically you will see the last 25-30% of harvest. And I think we're starting to enter that in corn. So interesting to see that we're kind of running up to some resistance here in this 416 to 420 area, I'll call it. I think you'll start to see some more farmers selling, hedging here because they won't want to pay these high commercial storage rates just due to spaces at such a big premium here this year. So I do look for guys to sell a little bit more here, with corn harvest in that 65% range. I think we're at this tipping point to where we will start to see pressure on basis a little bit on corn, and then the futures will start to weigh down just a little bit as well, just as we start to see some more selling versus wanting to put in that storage. And guys, we still need some cash to knock down some interest here before the end of the year. So guys like to keep themselves in good cash positions.
And then looking at the other side of the marketplace in the livestock complex, how did cattle and hogs trade today?
Cattle had a very strong day again. After a little bit of a pullback yesterday, we opened up stronger. They ended up about $1.35, $1.40 higher. We continue to see the December live cattle trading about $1.86 to $1.88.5. So here we are. We're back up in this $1.88 range again. We are hearing that possibly some cash could be a little firmer to stronger here this week. So, and then the feeder cattle are up, $2 and $2 plus. They're the same thing. Had an inside trade day yesterday, lower, but now here we are. We had a little correction. We've been down pretty much all month of October here. Same way with the live cattle. So we're seeing a little technical buying in here. I think we're going to see the swing market bounce a little bit back up into consolidated trade range. We'll get these these January feeders back in this 245 area and maybe kind of head sideways. On the hog side of things, we did see some of the pork butts kind of catch fire here today finally, so that's kind of bringing up the products are coming up here. Hogs had a very strong day again. We're seeing a hole in the numbers. We're seeing low numbers, pretty strong demand overall in the pork industry. So side of things, so we are continuing to see these the pork market kind of work its way higher here. We still maybe got a little bit more upside to come yet.
All right, Corey, lots of great information today. For those of our listeners and our viewers who would like to get in touch with agmarket.net, how can they do that?
Yeah, a couple ways. You can head on over to our website at agmarket.net, or else reach out to us on our toll-free number at 844-424-6758.
All right, Corey, thanks again for joining us on today's show. We look forward to visiting again for more market analysis.
All right, thanks, Riley.
Thanks again to Corey Bratland of agmarket.net for joining us today. Let's take a look at how the numbers closed through the market window at iowaagnet.com.
December corn up 4 3/4 at 409.5. November soybeans up 11 even at 981 even. December soybean meal up 270 at 318.30. Soybean oil up 57 cents at 42.39. Chicago wheat down half a cent at 572 1/4. Kansas City hard red wheat up 1 1/2 at 582 1/4. Minneapolis spring wheat down 2 1/2 at 614 even. December oats down 3 even at 379 1/2. On the Merc, December live cattle down 50 cents at 186.82. November feeders down $1 at 246.60. December lean hogs up 45 cents at 78.27. Pork cutout went unchanged at 90.65. And November class 3 milk down 30 cents at 20.89.
And that's been a check of the markets here on Ag Matters PM. That also brings us to the end of today's episode. You can find all of our content on our website at iowaagnet.com. Also follow us on social media at Facebook, X, LinkedIn, and TikTok, and find our video content as well as previous episodes of AM PM on our YouTube channel. Don't forget as well to subscribe and hit the notification bell to see when those videos go live. And as always, check out our free morning, midday, and closing market podcasts, as well as the Iowa Ag Matters podcast and Pods of Potential. You can find those on our website again at iowaagnet.com or your favorite podcasting service at Apple, Amazon, Spotify, or Podbean. From the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network studios in Des Moines, I'm Riley Smith. On behalf of Mark Magnuson, Andy Peterson, and Dustin Huffman, we thank you for watching. This has been Ag Matters PM.